For me, fashion is a very small circle. It's a network. So it's like you must be entering that network from the very beginning. And people know people, and especially in Milan or Paris. Also, because of the background, because of the culture, I did not learn fashion in my background. So I also get into real specific fashion industry afterwards, and I found there was a very strong network, and people know each other. And being a Chinese, it's a bit difficult to enter into that circle. You see, people from other industry want to get into that industry could be quite difficult, but again, there are other ways coming from luxury industry, coming from marketing, and it's more and more open.
This is Generation Podcast, conversations around the new generation of global talents and brands. Ciao, I'm your host, Simona Lodolo. I'm ready to dive deep and discover the generation that is shaping the future of culture, economics, and society. Today, I'm here exploring this new generation with someone who every day works to support the generation, young talents, designers, and the future creative directors in the fashion, design, and art industries, and now also beauty and fragrances. Ciao, Yingting Cheng. So, Yingting Cheng, you are Chief Operating Officer, China and Asia Pacific at Istituto Marangoni.
Thank you for inviting me, and I'm happy to be here.
Fashion, luxury, education. In percentage, what is the importance of each area in your life and career?
Well, I would say 30, 30, and 40%. It's very equally split because also, of course, education is the primary one. So it's 40%, of course, because I work for educational institution, Istituto Marangoni, while our higher education institution is slightly different than the other comprehensive university. We're really, let's say, vertically attached to the industry. That is fashion and luxury. So I have been very happy exploring these two industries. And also when we guide our students or teach our students, we have been really balancing the two industries and trying to give them also a very comprehensive view. And also by selecting carefully the companies to work with together.
That's super interesting. And I think it's complicated to balance this 30-30 and 40% because you have very demanding industry on one side. And then you work with talent and you work with creativity. So you need to balance creativity with the business side.
Yeah. In the fashion system, we always talk about the triangle of the fashion industry, and also in the retail, you do have the luxury brands on the top. You have the premium brands and also accessible luxury in the middle. And in the end, you have all those mass market brands. So it's important also for our students, also for us being a school in the end, we are also doing a lot of consultancy to the companies actually. We collaborate together. We also involve our students in the project to have the fresh view and perspective from the young generation, as you just introduced as well. So it's really important for us to have a 360-degree, let's say, research and their perspective of the industry.
And I'm very curious because since it's generation, so it's something that is related to global. Istituto Marangoni is everywhere. I mean, you have Milan, Florence, Paris, Dubai, Mumbai,
China. In the US as well, we're in Miami, and we're opening soon in Riyadh.
Yes, you do. So, and you also have global students, don't you?
Yeah, we have more than 120 different nationalities across 10 campuses for the moment. And so I usually run a classroom. For example, I have 20 students with 18 different nationalities. I really enjoy it.
Are they really looking at a global career? Or do you still think that some of them think, okay, I want to be the best designer in, I don't know, Italy, Europe, or they look themselves as the global talents of the future? Or
well, that depends. A lot of creative person, I think, first of all, it's about their identity. So who they are, where am I coming from? And should be clear. And also all the creativity is coming from also very much related to who they are and the culture they actually grow up with. But most of the time I say the fashion and luxury industry today is global, even though we are unique, every single of us and every single student is unique but we are selling the product. In the end, fashion is a business, luxury is a business. We're selling to a consumer. And consumer today is global. So we should have a global understanding. We should be inclusive also in terms of culture. So we need to understand the others. Definitely having a global perspective is very important.
I totally agree. That's also why I started this project. I think this global perspective is not is the future. So we cannot just think of a market that are global, but ourselves as global professional and managers. So you are from China, but you studied in the US and spent many years in Paris. You speak French very, very well. You led the fashion management department at Marangoni Paris for quite a long time. And now your responsibility extend to the entire Asia Pacific. What are the reasons behind such significant moves?
Because I love moving. I actually, yes, I do speak English and French, and I'm still trying to catch up with my Italian. But it's really interesting because you said fashion is culture, right? Fashion is lifestyle. We need to understand the other cultures. And by understanding the other cultures, not just to be being traveling there, being spending time with the people, I always found speaking another language opens another door because the language allows you to access a lot more different things, different cultures. Even though today we have internet, we have AI, we have translation tools can help us a lot. But when you speak that language, and I really enjoy that a lot. So even though, yes, I grew up in China, in Shanghai, but I'm always obsessed by discovering the other cultures, the other languages, and I really enjoy that. So it was my choice as well. When I left China, I love my country, but I want to see something different as well to understand the world, let's say. And then I reached to US, France, and every time I really met great people and I saw the lifestyle, culture can be so different. Also, more and more I see more students, and also we have so many different teachers. Our team is coming from all over the world as well. So the more I see, the more I want to have and the more I want to discover.
I think people that used to travel for work and from the academic career, this is a feeling that is very natural. If you like it, you're going to love it and you're going to want more and more. But in the Glue Narration, I also want to share the struggle because, of course, you describe the beauty, the excitement of learning new cultures. But at least I know what happened to myself, and it's not always super easy, isn't it?
Yeah, there are, everything has a good side and, a little bit passive side. But I mean, it depends on which wings over the other part. So as the good part has been so great and it can be ignored, the bad part.
Have you ever felt like things can be very tough?
I really want to say maybe yes, you're right, the loneliness, because I still remember when I was in Paris and I always tell my friends, I was 10 years in Paris, but at a certain point I say, I'm not moving for the moment, but I have the impression I'm moving all the time because all the friends I have, the network I have, they are all very international. So in the end, you have friends coming, you have friends leaving, you are making new friends, and you have the friends that are leaving you. You feel sad. I'm going to start over again. But in the end, it's something beautiful behind as well. You meet more people, discover more culture, discover also more industries because they're not only working for fashion industry for sure or luxury industry. So true. And I do feel also the new life. Everyone loves their comfort zone. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, you need to find a new grocery. You need to find a hospital. You need to get used to the security system. Of course, it's not easy, but for the people like us, it's like kind of the challenges accepted.
Yes, that's true. We are vaccinated, but I think it's something that now people should consider.
Yeah.
It can be tough. You need to no, you need to learn how to start from scratch quite often. What do you think it is the biggest misconception people have about your industry? Which is, I want to consider both fashion and education. You were also a consultant for global brands.
Yes, I think fashion industry is seen as a perfect bling bling, only because the image we see most of the time is beautiful people wearing beautiful clothes. I run also a lot of interview to my students. For example, the entrance exam, the interview, I read a lot of personal statements. A lot of time they will say, wow, I love fashion because it's just so beautiful. I love feeling these materials. But again, I think this is the perfect side that most people see. But in the end, it's a very, very tough industry, especially today, to have the right positioning, to find the right consumers. And the market is changing, consumers are changing. So it's also an industry. You see, it keeps changing. I used to have a colleague working in the car industry that was my MBA colleague. And he was very interesting. So I only develop one product per year for a car. But I was like in the fashion and the luxury for a fashion collection. Imagine you have spring, summer, autumn, winter. And then now we do even pre-spring, pre-autumn, ready to wear haute couture. So it's an industry that really requires a lot of energy, keep moving, even in the education sector when we teach. I'm not saying for the other majors, but for the fashion, we have to do research every single, not day, but every single season, weeks and month. We keep learning because, the market's changing very quickly.
Yeah. So, what are the three characteristics or skills that you think are necessary for the next, so the new global generation of talents in fashion industry?
First of all, passion, because I think passion is really the key. If we do not have the passion, we would give up easily because it's a very demanding industry. So we need to love it in order to do it well. Number two, I really think we should keep learning. Really, the young talents today, I think they're moving so quickly. Years ago, we were still talking about Cloud 3D, and then there was Metaverse, and these days AI is everywhere. And I know most of the people working in the fashion industry are not an IT person, are not so technology oriented person, because most of them, they are very artistic, very creative. But still, I think we should keep learning and being updated about what is happening in the industry and what is going on, even the macro environment, economically, politically, that impacts a lot the audience, the customers that we see. And last but not least, as you're asking three, I would say it's still very important to be creative, really to think out of the box, not just for fashion designers. So even dealing with business, we need to be creative as of today. The marketing, being very creative in the retail space, being very creative in the products. The creative is everywhere.
So, that a question very linked to this one is what, at least one, I'm making it easy for you, one attitude, let's say, that the global talents should not have.
Oh, not have, I would say the attitude that I'm the best. I think they need to be themselves. Very important. Have the passion, be themselves. But at the same time, really keep their minds open. As we said, it's a global industry. So it's really to think, to being inclusive and to think about the others, empathy. If not to be the attitude, I'm the best, is really having this empathy and to have this emotional connection either with the brand or with the consumers is very important.
It's good to be like hands-on and very no, down to earth. You're meeting many young talents, and you met many in Istituto Marangoni. Is there a compliment or an appreciation that you received from one of your students that particularly touched you?
Yeah, actually, this is always the most emotional moment when a student say thank you, or the student always say, I remembered what you say, even years after. Not just like I need to be remembered, but I know that what I did or what I taught had impact on the young generation. I still remember when I was pregnant and I was the last month of the pregnancy. So pregnancy. So I was leaving the school that day. It was my last day. So I have students coming to me with flowers, and we took a group picture together with my big belly. And this moment feels really good. It's like, okay, they really respected me or really think I was a good mentor. I was a good teacher. What I did was meaningful. So I really think this is the magic moment for the educators.
You also organize fashion shows usually at the end of
Yeah.
an academic path.
Yeah.
So, is this the most touchy moment of student path and yours as a teacher or as a leading educator?
Most of the time, it's a very beautiful moment, but you leave the entire floor to the students because it's their stage. It's their showtime. I am a supporter at the time. Of course, we have creative directors, we have teachers, we have design teachers to support them to make this show. And we help them also to invite all the media editors and the industry cooperators so that they can potentially look at these talents' work and recruit them when they graduate. So we support them by preparing the stage for them. And then this is their showtime. For me, this moment, I only see the students in my eyes. One very emotional moment every year as well as graduation. So graduation, you see them, and the moment you deliver the degree to them and take the picture, you saw them like 3 years ago when they entered, when they were 18 years old, and the moment they got their degree, they're 21. They changed most of time a lot, a lot. I said in the beginning, they're, oh, I'm learning fashion business, but I don't really know what I'm going to do after. With time, they know, okay, now I'm more interested in maybe marketing. Oh no, I'm more interested in digital marketing. I'm more interested in events. I'm more interested in retail. So the emotional moment for this is also how we accompany them during this journey and find also the way, right path for their career afterwards. Sometimes they also choose to continue their study with a master, for example, or they chose to start their brand and to be entrepreneur and create their own brand. So everything is possible. It's a magic moment.
I like this message of possibility, endless possibility. Do you feel that personally, did you sacrifice something for your career? Because you're super busy and you never stop because that is a moment where the students are studying, but also you have to do many other things to run the business. Do you feel that you sacrifice anything?
I think especially we always ask the same question to woman leader, especially how to balance family and career. I always wish I could spend more time with my daughter. Once she also told me, Mom, why you are not like the other mommies, like picking up kids at the school or picking up for their extra after class activities and I never see you. I say, yeah, because I have something else also very important to do, but I see you. But still, in the evening, I still try to read stories before she goes to bed. I think, of course, as I spend a lot of time at work, I spend less at home. So this is something definitely I would say could be a sacrifice, but at the same time, I'm happy because I'm showing my daughter being a woman can be also strong, can be also successful in the career.
Oh, that's a very nice message. And I'm sure that she will love maybe, how old is she now?
6.
16. So I'm sure she loves fashion.
She tried to make clothes already at home.
See. This is happen also to my kid. They realize when they see like the fashion shows, for example, of your students. I think kids realize from the very young age, but this is also because of mom. Mom is away because he's helping all the students, you know? So
Yeah, once I was in Yunnan in the mountain, we did a charity event. So our student designed the winter coat for the students, a younger purpose in the mountain of Yunnan. Of course, it's very cold there and they're not from rich family. So rather the life standard is very low. So our actually team members, students, teachers, and also we had some sponsor of the companies have donated and then to make those collections, our student design and made into real clothes. And I was going to Yunnan, those mountain villages, and to deliver hands to hands the closest to the purpose. We took pictures and we give them hugs and send the warm to them. And when I back home, of course, it's been 2 days. My daughter didn't see me. And I say, Mom, where you were? Actually, we didn't see you. And then I show her the pictures and I was with the other kids and she was so proud and so happy. And I think the month was following that everywhere she goes, she's, my mom was seeing the other kids. She was a teacher to other kids and she went to give different help to the others. She was very proud and she's telling this to everyone.
these are things that explain to our kids why when we are away. And they value this. Sometimes we don't think that the 6 years old kid can no can understand, but they do. They do, and they remember, and they share with, as you said. So very nice from your daughter. There's something in the fashion culture that you still struggle to adapt to.
Not difficult to adapt to, but I have still some difficulties. It's definitely for me, fashion is a very small circle. It's a network. So it's like you must be entering that network and circle from the very beginning. And people know people, and especially in Milan or in Paris, it's all about who you know. Fashion is really strong in Europe, also because of the background, because of the culture, France and Italy. So coming from China, which is definitely not the spot for fashion until 10 years
Was
ago.
yes,
Now
exactly.
it's getting better, and the Chinese brand are going also to the international market. Also, I did not learn fashion in my background. I would say that's why also I put luxury very important to fashion, because when I was in Paris, I did a BA in luxury brand management. So branding and the luxury management was rather my academic background before fashion. Getting to really specific fashion industry afterwards, and I found there was a very strong network and people know each other, and being a Chinese, it's a bit difficult to enter into that circle. But in the end, I'm back to China now, and it's slightly different. And but we do have network, and in China, network, very well. You stated you lived a long time in China, 关系.
Guanxi.
It's still very important. So I guess it's everywhere, but fashion is even more. And we see in Italy, a lot of fashion brand, they are family business, and they are still are. And in China, it's the same. Usually a big brand, you look at their supply chain, the factories are all their aunties, uncles, and families. So it's still the circle that is quite strong. And you see from people from other industry want to get into that industry could be quite difficult. But again, there are other ways coming from luxury industry, coming from marketing, and it's more and more open.
Yeah, I think something is changing, especially after COVID. So I hope it will keep on this direction. I like this openness. So business is often associated with data, ROIs, KPIs, but in education, you have lots to do with talent and culture. So if you could think of the best way to measure your work, your global work, what would it be? Not in number then.
Yeah, it's a very good question because both are very important. A lot of things cannot really be actually examined by numbers, as we're in a culture study. We're not learning mathematics or engineering mechanism. So for me, we need to understand the students with their ideas, what they're trying to create. We give them the stage to show. But at the same time, we're still in an education. We still deal with attendance rate, and they need to attend a class school more than 80%. They cannot miss too many classes. We still measure them with also give them a score. Even you say fashion sometimes cannot be measured by numbers, but they still receive a score which defines, are you the best students? Are you the passing? Do you have a passing grade, or you fail? I'm sorry, you have to repeat your year. So it's still both, but we try to do in a very soft way. And also our students, their mindset is a little bit different than the other science students. They are very emotional. So sometimes we also need to use you use their language to communicate with them, to tell them, all right, this is score, but what does really mean behind the score? It's not just a number, but this is what you can further improve. And this is what you did really well. So we are there also to balance between the numbers and
And how do you measure your work? For example, by placement, when you see that now most of your students find a job easily or open their own brands.
yeah, so that's why we have career service. One of the way really to measure is also to see if we have successful alumni, if they have been very well placed in the industry, they have been opening their brand. For example, recently we also have Chinese alumni Shu Xuan has been showing London Fashion Week that really got a great success. And we had Kiko Mao that in September 2004, he was the closing show for Milano Fashion Week. So all that is also, our proud, and we feel that our students and our alumni have been doing great. And also we keep inviting them back to school and talk to the young generation. So the young students see, okay, this is the future me. At the same time, the successful alumni go back to school and communicate and also, deliver this heritage, the knowledge they got from school back again, contribute to the next generation, combining what they've learned in the real, so it's an exchange as well. It's a proven success record if the alumni appreciate what we did and coming back to school and giving back to school.
I love this. You kind of give back something that you got from your education. This is the best appreciation that a former student can give you. I love that. Is there a word or a quote that synthesize your global adventure? Even in Chinese, and then you can translate.
Well, I like really the sentence Yo Yamamoto ever said. He said, I walk back to the history while I walk backwards into the future.
Why do you like it?
Today, we are here making the me today is because of all the history, all the past experience that I had, and make me the me today. Now, because of the me today, I'm determined to achieve the future me, the next me, and I have the new objectives, and I will look at the future in the way that I am today. And also very similar to the fashion industry, right? Because the fashion, there are a lot of recurrent trends. This year again, we have a lot of 90s. We have a lot of T70s, and
Nostalgia.
it's coming back all the time. So the past is never past, and the future is always related to the past. So this is why I like it. My experience globally has made me today the value I have for the world, for the life. The same, I'm transferring this to my students who will hopefully in the future keep transferring the same value in the future. This is something really interesting and meaningful.
Yeah, definitely. Have you ever had personally someone that inspired you, and if you did, a piece of advice that this mentor gave you?
There are a lot of people I work with, and also the CEO of Marangoni always trust me in what I do, even though I'm very far from the headquarters, but they trust me in managing Istituto Marangoni in China and Asia Pacific. But if you ask me one, I would cite this one because this is where everything started. Was my I think one of my leader when I was still in China, when I was 23. At the time, I was working also with the French people in China. And he told me, he said, but Yingting, you need to go out of China. You need to see. I said, yeah, but I traveled, I traveled to Paris and traveled and I speak French. I work with French people. I think I know. They know you don't. He told me the French people were in China were not real French because we
That's true. I had the same feeling. Yes,
also
like
to
Italian.
Chinese culture. So the same for Italian. Italian people in China, they are not really Italian. If you really want to understand the real French or real Italian, go there to see them. This is also what I'm going to see to everyone. If you want to know what is real China, real Chinese people, come here to see them, not just listening to whatever you can have as information from internet. And he told me, go out, see them, and go there. You will see it's different. And also you need to step out of your box. So it's like you going outside of the earth when you are on the moon or in the space and you see the earth. It has a different view. You are Chinese. The moment only when you go out of the China and you go back and you look at China, you will have a fully different picture. And this is where everything started. And starting from there, and I understand better French culture, European culture, but also better Chinese culture as well when I left China.
Yeah, this is true. When you collect other perspective, you develop this capability to better understand also your own country, because you see also your culture. I'm Italian here, and I learn how American, for example, see Italian, which is a different point of view, something that good or bad, or right or wrong, I'm not saying, but this is different perspective.
China has a lot of different cultures and we speak different dialects cross mountains already. So it's very interesting. Really, again, go back to what I said earlier. I really want to say to also always to my students, keep the eyes open, empathy to involve and embrace the other cultures.
You have taught for many years, but now let's imagine that you're still a professor in the Gloneration Masterclass. So, what subject would you teach to these global talents of the future?
A lot of person, we only think about us. We have a strong identity, but I think it's important to have a bird view when you see it with overall 360 degree, and it helps. And keeping that in mind for the students, no matter I'm a fashion designer or I'm a fashion marketing manager, I understand my point of view. I'm strong in that, but also I understand the other side of the industry. That's why I'm still enjoying teaching this lesson. Also, this lesson is not unique for one specialization. It's cross-disciplinary. So I always bring all the students together. I always make this connection among them. So as I also said, fashion is a network, making your network starting from now, starting from the first day entering to Istituto Marangoni. And they could be your colleagues in the future. The other students could be your partners in the future, or competitors. We never know. So I think it's a very magic moment.
Networking could be a very nice subject for this Gloneration Masterclass. That's a great idea indeed.
Yeah.
And it works not only for fashion.
Yes. And also for me, it's interesting because I always say teaching is not just a one way delivering, actually, depending on the audience. And we got also a lot of information. It's a true exchange. So we can really work on the fashion industry together with also the audience.
Now, our Gloneration game. I will share with you some areas or life skills, and you need to define yourself, either global or local. By local, you can also say French or Italian or Chinese. For example, if I say food, global or local?
Global.
Education,
Global.
sport,
Global.
creativity,
Chinese.
family.
We're three at home and three of us are from different nationality.
Great, love it. Arts and culture,
Chinese.
beauty or appearance,
Global.
design,
Global.
music,
Chinese.
holidays or destinations,
Definitely global.
time management,
Global.
problem solving,
Chinese.
empathy, empathy,
Global.
emotional intelligence,
Global.
leadership style,
Global.
strategic thinking,
Global.
team management.
Depending to whom you are managing.
Very, very polite and politically correct answer. So before my last questions, I have a news from this second season of Generations. I have questions from our audience. If you could change one thing of your global career, what would it be?
I would love to travel more. Because even for now, I'm based in Shanghai. I'm very far from the Eastern Marangoni Milano, the headquarters. I know today we have this amazing tool online with the conference call and etc. But again, a lot of emotional connection, a lot of teamwork. I really wish not only me, but also my team, we can travel more and more. But again, we're in a sustainable culture today. I do think technology could improve even more. And even though one day we're talking online, it will be giving us real the impression we're also communicating like in the physical space. So I would really appreciate that everyone and also students can travel more and to see more. Today we're much more connected with the screen. We see information, but as I said, sometimes we go back to the tradition and the basics. I would love to see more with my own eyes.
That's a very nice final message. What is next for you, Yingting?
He said that 40 years old is the age that you get confused, which I really think it is true. 40 years is almost half. of your life. So again, when we look back, I'm satisfied by what I've been doing, but what's the next? This is the question that I keep asking to myself, what I want to be, what I want to going to achieve. And I think it's also very important milestone in life, what the future me could be. So I'm still thinking that, and I will let you know my answer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Simona.
So, guys, we need to leave in Ting because it's late over there. It has been a very nice, passionate journey into fashion and luxury. Thank you for listening. If you like the episode, please click the like button. And with me, the appointment is in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.